Hi guys, thanks for joining me today. In this Las Vegas October market report, we're going to take a look back at all the numbers that matter in September provided to us by the Las Vegas Realtors, and then we're going to briefly talk about the new crisis on the block, which is an energy crisis. And then we're going to talk about how you can protect yourself. I think it is vital that you take action and that you prepare yourself for the energy crisis coming to you soon. So let's jump in to this very terrifying October market report. That I wish I was saying that in jest, but obviously there is constantly a new crisis all the time in the United States and around the world. I believe that's intentional, but again, we'll talk about that at the end of the video. So let's jump into the numbers. And the first number we're going to talk about is the number of new listings in September, where we had 3,689 new listings hit the market in September, which was down 7.4% from the month prior. And it was also down 4.2% from the year prior. So just to give us some historical perspective, these numbers look right in line if we look back all the way to 2015. So next we have the number of closings for September, where we had 3,209 closings for September, which was down exactly one closing from last month. So essentially 0%, but that is up 1.9% year over year. So the next set of numbers we're going to take a look at is effective months of availability, where we stand at 1.1 month of available inventory. Now we're up 6.4% from the month prior, and we're down 26.5% from the year prior. Now every month we've been inching up from March and April, where we hit a low of 0.5 months of inventory. So as most of you know who watch the channel and who are students of real estate, 6 months of available inventory is considered an equal market. Now, when we take a look back, we have to go all the way back to 2011, where we had 5 months of available inventory. Now, even though they say 6 months of available inventory is an equal market between buyers and sellers, it is conceivable it might take some time to get back to those numbers, because after the financial crisis for, I would say, about from 2008 to 2010, it was about 56% of homes that got sold to cash buyers. So it is possible that many of those people are going to hold on to those homes indefinitely, even as we see utilities and the cost of living skyrocketing, that their margins are going to be so wide that they are still not going to have to sell. And most likely they're going to pass on the added expenses to the tenants who are going to occupy those homes. So that's just one of the reasons that we haven't seen a 6-month inventory in quite a while. And of course, that's in addition to the forced appreciation that we've seen with the vast money printing that has happened and the low interest rates and eviction moratoriums and forbearances. So we'll see how quickly those last items I mentioned wind their way through the court system, and we'll keep a close eye on inventory moving forward. The next set of numbers we're going to look at is the median close price, where last month we had a median close price of $405,000, and this month we have a median close price of $406,500. So we're just inching up a little bit. Buyers are giving a little bit more ground, even though all the statistics are saying that the market is starting to slow. And of course, the Federal Reserve is talking about tapering. So we'll see if that happens. But right now, buyers is still giving up a little bit more ground as sellers reach deeper into buyers' pockets and wallets to extract every last dollar they can. But let's still not forget that we are up 20.5% year over year, when the median list price in September from 2020 was $337,250. Just in case you're saving your pennies, that's about $70,000 more for a home than it was last year. So it's hard to wrap your head around how much longer it's going to take you to save for a home nowadays if you are a first-time home buyer or just somebody starting out. But that's what happens when you print trillions of dollars and flood it into the economy. All right, lastly, guys, the number of the new median list price is at $430,000. Now, even though the median list price has gone up every single month in 2021 all the way to September, the median new sales price stopped increasing in August, where it stayed the same as it was in July at $405,000. And as we just mentioned, the new median sales price for September inched up just barely by $1,500. So we are seeing a widening disconnect between what sellers think their homes are worth and what buyers are willing to pay. So guys, finally, that wraps up the numbers. Things are fairly steady. I think sellers are going to have to be a little bit more accommodating to buyers. They're going to have to offer possibly some closing costs. They have to be realistic that the prices have not continued to go up. And buyers can be a little bit more picky, but still there's not a lot of inventory on the market. So it's important to know exactly where the market is to kind of have your finger on the pulse, as they say, to make the best decisions and maximize your investment or sale. But that wraps up the portion of the video that is dedicated to the look back at September. And now let's talk about the new crisis on the block, the energy crisis that is smacking Europe squarely in the face right now, and that we have seen in our own country, in Texas, and currently in California and Puerto Rico. All right, guys, I'm going to keep this quick because who can stand it anymore? I don't want your heads to explode. But this article that we're going to look at is from the FP Insider. This is an analytics-based company who sells data to people like myself and others who want to be in the know of what's happening and have the most current and relevant information. So guys, if you have not heard about this, then I encourage you to pay attention. And if you're able to take the necessary action to protect yourself from what is already here in California and Puerto Rico and is probably coming to many other states throughout this great country of ours, and think about investing in solar energy. This is the big push from the administration right now. It is supposedly to save the planet. I don't know if I agree with that. But there's definitely, in my opinion, some case to be made for global warming. And because they are pushing this agenda so hard, I think it is a very, very important time to look at solar energy. I know for myself, I just received a proposal. I had actually spoken with this rep that I have referred to clients of mine and I've had great success with last year. And then I ended up selling my house, so I never put solar on my home. But right now, I think it is really important because I do have serious concerns that energy shortages are going to come our way. And I think it is probably a very wise decision, again, if you can, to lock in lower prices with solar energy. So that being said, let's look at this article. Is Europe's energy crisis a preview of what's coming to America? So the article goes on to say that Europe has itself to blame for shortages and spiking costs. So guys, we're not talking about just spiking costs, because maybe if you're financially comfortable, you're saying, I'm not worried about it. But this is impacting everybody because they also have themselves to blame for shortages. And it says that Washington is copying many of their policies. The article goes on to say that the energy crisis is affecting every part of the globe, and it is causing shortages, it is causing spiking energy costs, and that it is also affecting the U.S. and California, as California is struggling to keep their energy grid stable. The article goes on to say that this is coming as a shock to many because this is the first energy crisis we've had in decades. But it is something to be aware of. It's very impactful because it is going to send reverberations through every part of our economy, because obviously we have to pay for our heating, our cooking, and then energy costs go into everything that we buy and everything we do. Of course, all our goods and products, and when we drive, we are using energy. So it is going to affect every aspect of our lives. And of course, it is going to affect the poorest among us. And the article also says that this needs to be treated as a national security issue, which I somewhat agree with that. Obviously, if people don't have electricity, that could be very bad. Now, they go on to say that the energy shortages and price increases have caused protests in Spain, gasoline shortages in Britain, and natural gas shortages across the European continent as winter is approaching. So, guys, now I'm going to go a little bit more off the script and just kind of paraphrase what I took away from the article, even though I will link it in the description below so you can read it yourself, just in case I take some liberties here. And while you're checking out that article, go ahead and smash that like button. But basically, what the article says is that because they are trying to move to renewables so quickly, that they are cutting off the energy supply essentially too fast before they can actually build these other systems out, and they are becoming dependent on Russia for their energy. And of course, Russia, we know, is not the most accommodating actor out there. So they're potentially gouging because they know they can. And it is causing a major, major mess in Europe. And I personally do think probably going to renewable energy is a good idea. I just think we're doing it way, way too fast. And I do question, is it on purpose to cause panic and disruption, or is it actually incompetence? You tell me what you think. Leave it in the comments below. Or I'll give you a third option, that the world is in such an environmental crisis that we need to go to renewables no matter what, no matter how many people suffer, no matter how many lives are disrupted, no matter what happens with civil unrest. It has to happen right now. I think that's kind of crazy myself, but as you know, President Biden, he stopped the Keystone Pipeline almost immediately when he came into office. I'm pretty sure it was during his first 100 days. And he stopped many pipelines that were going into effect that would have brought us more inexpensive and reliable energy. So almost certainly that is going to drive energy costs skyward, just like we're seeing in Europe. And as I said, we're already seeing it in this country, in Puerto Rico, and in California. So lastly, the article concludes that the United States should take a really close look at what Europe is doing and maybe not duplicate it. But again, I believe the climate agenda is so strong that it is going to happen unless the people of the United States come together and decide they don't want that to happen, because it seems like no one is speaking out and there's such apathy out there. I'm just going to leave you with the closing thought that you probably want to invest in renewable energy for yourself if you can afford to. Like I said, I personally am looking at a proposal. I'm pretty confident I'm going ahead and move forward with that. It just seems like it's, again, good for the planet anyway, but it definitely seems like it's going to be forced on us one way or another, and at least protect myself from something that I'm very concerned is coming to a city near you very soon. So guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. Thanks for watching. I'm Ken Blumberg, your All-American Realtor, bringing you truth, honesty, hard work, and all-American know-how. And as I said, I have a good solar rep. If you'd like to get their information, if you'd like to sit down with somebody, let me know. I want to help you. I don't want you to be left out in the cold. So reach out to me so I can provide you his information. And of course, if you have any real estate needs, let me know. This is what I do. This is what I love. I love helping people. I know the market extremely well. I've been in the business for a long time. I have many connections out there, and I can get the job done for you. So click that like button, subscribe to the channel. Please, please, I want to hear from you. Leave your comments down below, and I will see you on the next video.